Hi, my name's Nick Best, Managing Director here at Astranti. Now, back in February of this year, I did something kind of strange. I picked up my daughter's violin, and my daughter gave up the violin. She's 16 now. She gave it up a couple of years ago. She got up to grade 3. If you don't know much about music in the UK, we have the system of grade 1 through to grade 8, and then you go beyond. But grade 8 is really a very, very, very high standard of playing any musical instrument. Anyway, so I picked it up and I kind of started having a little bit of a play with it, and I kind of quite enjoyed myself actually. I was kind of picking it up, and I watched a couple of online videos and downloaded a couple of things from YouTube. The online video and piano tutor was her name, and I started to have a little play and started to have a go. I don't know anything about music, or I certainly didn't back then. But I was enjoying myself, and I kind of started practicing every day for about a month, and I just thought, well, do you know what? I could have a go at my grade 1 exam, and grade 1 is the first exam of a series of 8 exams. And people normally actually would take 18 months to 2 years of playing an instrument before they do their grade 1. But there's no way I was going to spend 2 years doing this. But I just thought, well, why don't I just get the music and just have a look and see what I think, see if I can play it. And I got the music, and I started watching some people online that were playing the music. And I thought, I can have a go. I can have a go at this. And so I started playing the violin, and I just decided I'm going to take an exam. I'm going to do my grade 1. I hadn't taken an exam for over 20 years. And so actually doing that exam was going to be something which was completely new and different, but also something which actually was a good thing for me to do, in a sense of, here I am teaching you guys how to pass exams, and the reality is I actually haven't taken one for 20 years. So actually to go and to take a real exam for the first time again was a big thing for me. And in doing that, and so obviously now I've been playing since February. As I'm recording this now, we're in November, so I've been playing for 9 months or so. I've learned a lot of lessons in how to learn things, how to develop skills in something, and actually that's what I want to share with you in this series of videos. So here's my first lesson. So I decided, right, I want to take grade 1, and at the time I didn't really know how challenging that was, other than the fact that I'd looked at the music, started playing some of the tunes, and thought, well, I could probably have a go at this. So I looked for some music teachers locally. Said to them I was thinking of taking grade 1, and got quite a few rejections, like no, I couldn't take you on. And I think actually they probably thought that was a kind of stupid thing to do, to take grade 1. Basically I was going to take it in July, so I had February to July, like 4 or 5 months. But one teacher took it on, and I remember sitting down with her for the first time. I'd not played a note for her, and I sat down and she said to me, so you say you want to take grade 1? You sure you want to do that? You think that's a wise idea? And not something that she'd ever done, was taking anyone on to do that first grade and that first exam so quickly. But I was adamant I was going to do it, and I actually had the envelope to send off for the application ready to be sent off. I hadn't actually sent it off, but I told her basically I booked it up, so it was happening. And this is my key lesson. It was happening, and so therefore, as far as she was concerned, she was teaching me for this exam. Whether she believed I had any chance of getting it or not, that was what I was doing, so she was going to help me to do it. In my mind, I had an exam coming up in July, and by the time I saw her, it was April. I had 3 months with her in order to get up to that standard, and the reality was that I had a tough time ahead. I took the exam in July. I didn't just pass the exam. I didn't just get a merit. A pass is 60%. Merit is anywhere from, I think, 70% above. A distinction is 85% and above. I got a distinction. You know, out of nowhere. She definitely didn't think I was going to do that. I didn't think I was going to do that, but I did. But do you know what made all the difference? Was booking up that exam, sending that leaflet off, getting it booked up, have a date in the diary, and I then knew, and my teacher also knew, that's it. That's the date that we're focusing upon. And I was able to put all my focus for the whole of that 3 months from having booked that up into everything that I needed to do to pass. And my lesson for CIMA students out there. And one thing I see a lot of CIMA students doing is they've got an OT exam and they start to revise and they start to kind of, just going along without too much pace, and they're not ready to book up their exam yet. And I think that's a big mistake. My tip to anyone would be, look, take a reasonable amount of time, but don't make it too long. Don't do what my teacher would have me done, and I wouldn't have taken my grade 1 now if it was up to her, because the next sitting hasn't actually arrived yet. Look on when you think it's reasonable, but make it a reasonably tough but challenging date. Book that exam up and then work towards it and take that exam. If you fail it, do you know what? It's not the end of the world. You can just retake it a few weeks or a few months later. But it gives you an absolute focus to work your hardest towards that. And that's effectively what I did. I knew I had that date in July. I worked day in, day out. I was doing an hour a day of work up to that exam. But it was having that date in the diary that kept me focused. Without that, I'd never have worked as hard. In fact, I'll tell you what happened to my practice after that. I took the exam and I didn't pick up the violin for 6 weeks after that. Well, why? Because my exam was over. And yes, I was enjoying it, but actually once I got out of the habit, I just, lost focus. It was the summer, I didn't have any lessons booked, I didn't pick up the violin. By booking that date in, it keeps you focused, it keeps your mind on what do you need to do on a kind of scheduled basis as you lead up to the exam, and therefore I recommend that as a really important tip to you. Get your date in the diary, stick to that date, don't change it, work your hardest up to that date in order to pass your CIMA OT exams.